It's mostly cloudy at 24, highs of 30 and lows of 21. It's getting warmer in Johannesburg, but it's still at 10. Highs will be 19 and lows of 5. 25 and cloudy in Lagos, highs of 31, lows of 26. And partly sunny conditions in Kinshasa at 22. It'll come down to lows of 23 after going to highs of 32.
"24/7 around the world, non-stop. This is Spice FM.
What is the best gift to celebrate a birthday? Cash, of course. What if I told you that you can get cold, hard cash for celebrating a birthday? This June, I, Olivia Otieno, is giving 10,000 shillings to 41 lucky Spice FM listeners to celebrate my 41st birthday. That's right, this June, 41 lucky Spice FM listeners will get 10,000 shillings cash. All you need to do is SMS the word cash to 29599. That's cash to 29599. And if your SMS is number 41 or number 1041 every Monday to Friday, you walk away with 10,000 shillings cash. Each SMS costs 10 shillings. Terms and conditions apply. Go to spicefm.co.ke for more details.
All right, so still seeing that little bit of traffic on Langata Road. It's not too bad, actually, getting into the city. At the roundabouts of the Timor, you can go towards Bagathi Way. Choose to stay on Langata Road and you might get stuck right on Uhuru Highway as you try to get into the city. Coming out of Westlands, we still see it's jam-packed from James Gishuru for some reason. We don't know what's causing that traffic. But the Red Link road is all right for you to get into the city, no problem. Paka Junction, Wayaki Way, and Kangunda Road, those are problems that we see this morning as well. We also see Kiambu Road bumper to bumper. What are we at? 4 lanes now? What should be 2? It looks crazy already, guys. Then coming also from Jogo Road, Hamza, backed up all the way through then to the roundabout at the City Stadium. This is what we see, guys. Let's keep an eye on things. Help us out here. You find a good route, let us know. SpiceFMKE on Twitter. Text on 40127. Let's keep things moving this Monday morning.
Classic soul, R&B, smooth jazz, neo soul, and nostalgic ballads.
Make some noise. Yeah.
You're listening to Spice FM. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
26 minutes to 9. The conversation continues. This is the Situation Room. In the room this morning is Eric Latif Nduokosi Timuga. Joining us on the line is Professor Boaz Otieno Nyunya. He is a CEC member for Health and Sanitation in Kisumu County. We are talking about the unfolding COVID-19 situation in the region, not just in Kisumu County, but in the surrounding regions. 11 counties in total. This is according to the Director General of Health, Dr. Amoth, who says those 11 counties need to be on high alert. And this is basically just looking at the Lake Region Economic Bloc. Prof, as we resume the conversation, there are some comments that are coming in on social media. And they're questioning the seriousness with which the county governments of this particular region are treating this matter. One of them is, there was already the detection of the Indian variant in the county, but they went ahead to host a national celebration which brought in very many people into a stadium and others onto the road. In addition to that, I just asked you how many meetings for example, how are meetings being held by the governors? Yesterday, you've told us there was a meeting that was held by governors of the region. 4 attended. I'm assuming if 11 counties are basically on high alert, 11 governors would be attending such an important meeting. We asked you about lockdown and you said you're still monitoring to see what happens and there's a possibility of locking down this particular region. A comment on social media asks, surely, are they seriously dealing with this issue or are they just sitting back and watching? What did you respond to that, Prof?
My response to that is that the county governments are serious. The presence of 4 governors, personally, is just 4 governors on a Sunday. All the other counties had representation either through CEC or directors of health. So I would not say the absence of the others should be read with a lot of significance. But otherwise, there is a lot of seriousness. The discussions and a follow-up discussion, which is today, is demonstrating how serious, the region and of course the national government is with respect to the situation as it is unfolding. With respect to the Indian variant, yes, it is true, but we must be very contextual here. The biological drivers of the epidemic, just Indian, the variant of concern, which the Indian variant is just one of the many drivers. There are many other drivers. There are biomedical drivers like the testing rate, the low vaccination coverage. When you put all these together, you come up with what is driving the epidemic. There are, of course, other structural drivers that we have mentioned, the protocols, the arrangements in social places, and so on. But more importantly, the behavioral drivers that are both at individual and at group level. What people do in their social spaces, what they do in their homes, what they do in institutions. So all this cannot be, wished away. So we must look at this thing as, in a very holistic way, rather than saying it is just the Indian variant. And incidentally, as you know, this is just one of the variants. We have other variants. We have the UK variant. We have the South African variant. We have elsewhere the Brazilian variant. So all these are really it. And a country or a county may not know what variants there are until they sequence, because sequencing occurs only when you have suspicion for other variants, and if you have reasons to believe that you are not dealing with the native variant that we all know.
Prof,
thank you.
Prof, you talked about the state of medical facilities in the county right now. But I want to go a lot further and then talk about preparedness. Should things get worse? Number one, is the county adequately prepared to take care, or adequately prepared to take on an increased number of cases with an increased severity of symptoms with a need for ventilation support, for example? And again, as a regional hub being Kisumu, obviously now you will take on more in terms of responsibility when it comes from other counties or other areas. Is it adequately prepared to take on a situation should it get worse? Off the backdrop that experts have already told us that coming into July, we will see a spike. And we already have things on the cusp of getting bad in this area. Will it be able to handle it?
The key word there is adequately. I would say we need to do more to prepare. Any increased surge, any increased numbers is going to continue stretching an already overstretched system. And this is at all levels. I would like to say even at the home level, many homes are already overwhelmed, but leave alone the home level. The different layers of health services are stretched, and they are stretched in such a way that even the other services are suffering as a result of COVID. Maternity services are suffering. Accident emergency services are suffering. Casualties are being turned into wards because of COVID. So we really need to do more, and we are doing more to make them prepared. It predicting that if we have more, it is the numbers are still increasing, and this is not just here in Kisumu, not just in the Lake region, the whole country, and even globally. So we just need to do more to increase our functional capacity, and that is what the government is doing in partnership with everybody, including the private sector and other sectors involved in healthcare.
Prof, I have to ask this question. Even as these efforts are being made, when you look into the future and you look at the horizon, what exactly, because I'd asked this earlier on, so I'm asking it in a different way. What exactly does the county government of Kisumu, your ministry in particular, with the help of the national government, what is it that you are planning or have set or put in place to ensure that, one, you bring what we have, this current wave, down, and also looking into the future, ensure that we do not have a repeat of this? Because everything that has to do with the sort of surge that we have means that whatever plans you may have, whatever things you have to put in place, not only will they be overstretched, they will be inadequate. What is the thinking? What are you doing? What are you hoping to do?
Okay, thanks so much. I would say there are upstream intervention and downstream. Let me focus on the downstream one first. As a county, one of the things we have had to do is to redeploy healthcare providers from, facilities. I would mention like Ahero, Papoditi, Tulaimbo, to JOTRA. So that's one aspect. But more importantly, we have to enhance the training, the capacity of healthcare providers. But beyond that, of course, the quantity of healthcare providers will come in. So those are very specific interventions, not just for now, but for the future. But we also know that healthcare system is just not service. There are other areas like commodities. There are areas like information services. There are areas like training. There are areas like financing. Financing would not, we cannot run away from that. And you know that Kisumu County is going through and promoting a universal health coverage scheme through our Marwa scheme. Because eventually, and I think at the beginning of this conversation, we talked about people being expected to pay, deposit, which some people cannot pay, leading into catastrophic expenditure in families, and families having to sell property because of this. So those are actually some of we just have to confront very deliberately through the different partners and layers of the healthcare system. Thank you.
Prof, just to understand the specifics, allow me to just take you through a series of questions, just so we can get the specifics that you're talking about. So already we know that out of the 862 active COVID-19 cases in the county, 713 are on home-based care and 149 are in hospital. How many healthcare facilities are we talking about in Kisumu County that are taking care of this 149?
Okay, the two main hospitals are the premier facilities, Jaramogi Oginga Teaching and Referral Hospital and Kisumu County Referral Hospital. But those are the main ones in Kisumu, in the Kisumu city. We also have the level 4 hospitals, starting from Kombewa in Seme to Tulaimbo in Kisumu West, to Geta in Kisumu East, to Ahero, to Muhoroni, to Papoditi. Those are the main public health facilities. But in addition to the public health facilities, we have private health facilities, and they are not few in Kisumu. We have the Aga Khan, the Nightingale, the St. Luke, and so on and so forth. So we are not short of actual health facilities. What we are short of is the functional capacities of these of these facilities.
So if we were to map the functional capacity of all these facilities and in Kisumu County, how many functional beds do you have in Kisumu County?
Okay, that may be a detail that I'm not able to tell you, but I can quickly look at. For JOTRH, we have 50 beds dedicated to COVID and available. After another 45 and plus or minus already occupied. So you are talking about 100 beds, dedicated to COVID. For KCRH, we have five beds dedicated to COVID. We have had to collapse KCRH and JOTRH services so that the human resource, because as I say, you can have 100 beds, but you don't have the personnel. So we have had to collapse the two facilities to consolidate that. And for the private facilities, they are like 5, 6 here and there. I think that's what I can say.
So as you said that the numbers are increasing and you are seeing the numbers are increasing, you're likely to see the number of those who are in hospital rising from 149 to, let's say, 160 to 200. And you're talking about the measure that you put in place for preparedness. How many new healthcare workers do you require? How many new beds do you require? What have you done so far to prepare yourself for in the event that we get to end of July and 300 people need to be hospitalized in Kisumu County? Would you be able to cover that?
We have a focus and we have an action plan that we have shared in terms of the extra number of healthcare workers that we need. I may not be able to give you the exactitude right now, but we definitely need extra healthcare providers of different categories, mainly the nursing staff, but not just the nursing staff. We even need laboratory technicians, but we also need medical officers and specialists. So we are working very, very deliberately. Of course, resource constraints are there. One nurse is an expensive affair. But of course, the expensiveness is nothing if you one life lost as a result of lack of human resource is one too many. So we just have to do what we can to enhance the capacity, the numbers, and the training of the healthcare providers. And we are repurposing. We are making sure that we are able to move healthcare providers who otherwise would have been trained in one area to take up other training to take care of intensive care patients.
If I were to ask a question, I'm afraid my questions this morning, Prof, have to do with the future. What would the county need to see for it to order a lockdown?
What would the county
What would the Kisumu County need to see in terms of the infection rate and the spread of it? What would they need to see for it to order a lockdown?
The trend. The biggest thing is the trend of new infections vis-a-vis what is in place. What is in place, the enforceability. If the community, the people are not responsive and are not, obeying the protocols, then I see a lockdown as a possibility, not just for Kisumu.
But Prof, you said a few moments ago. You said a few moments ago that you've already seen that situation. That in public places, the citizens, residents, or citizens are not following protocol. That people are in public service vehicles, people are going to social gatherings and are not wearing their masks. For example, this whole thing of washing their hands has been thrown out the window. You've said this a few minutes ago. If that's one of the indicators that a lockdown should be implemented, it's already happening. So it's not something that's going to happen in the future. It's happening as we speak. And we've seen, not that this is foreign land to us, we have seen that it very quickly spirals into a situation that we're not able to handle. And then we start crying things like we don't have oxygen, we don't have. Meanwhile, there's something we can do now to stop a situation from being bad in the future. It seems that there's a lot of hesitance to do that. And as you say, data then should fuel a decision. But the data seems to be staring us in the face. Why are we not using it?
Okay, let me add to the fact that over the last 2 weeks or 10 days, we as a county have moved one major step ahead in terms of enforceability. What are we talking about? We have our law enforcement officers, the national government administrative structures, moving to enforce some of these, whether it is in matatus, in borders, and so on. We have had, and that's one area that I may have not mentioned, in the mortuaries. The mortuaries have strict directives to not keep the bodies for more than 48 hours. And we are already withdrawing licenses of mortuaries so that they obey the protocols. We are withdrawing licenses of, bars, liquor licenses, COVID licenses. So if this fails, because that's the second level of enforcement, if this fails to stem the tide, then of course a lockdown is there. So it's not contradicting at all. It is a stepwise way, probably a day later than we should have done, or a week later. But I can say if things do not change for the better, that is going to be, and we are monitoring real time, and we are monitoring what I'm calling event-based monitoring. What does that mean? If there's a funeral in a village, we want to know everything about that funeral. When did it occur? How many people attended? And that kind of stuff. That is one aspect that we have started enforcing just over the last 10 or so days. So, as I've told you for Kisumu, I may be reading too fast. The latest week, there could be already, what is the word? A flattening. But of course, it's too early to say.
Prof, as the CEC for Health in the county, you're the technical person on the ground dealing with this rising number of COVID-19. Now, as a parting message, I'd like you to address 3 or 4 different stakeholders. One, you'll address the national government and the coordination on what kind of support that you require. Second, address your local government, and this is your county assembly, for example, if you require any support when you go to them with a realignment of budget, for instance, so that you can hire these extra staff. And then thirdly, talk to the people, the residents of Kisumu County. What message would you like to tell them?
Okay. For the 2 levels of government, national government and county government, I think the main thing is to have a coordinated effort, a plan that is costed as we have already submitted, and resources mobilized. I think that is the biggest thing, both for the national government and the county government. But for the county government, beyond the resources, is the implementation. The implementation at outside facility level, the social places, the prayer places, and in homes. And for the people of this county, I think it is our responsibility. The behavior, the public health behavior is really it. Other than going for, making sure that whoever is eligible for vaccination, when the vaccines are available, should get vaccinated. The personal and group behavioral are probably, not just probably, the most important thing to stem the tide. Keep away from traveling when you don't have to travel. You don't have to visit when you don't have to visit. You don't have to go to public places when you don't have to. And when you go to public places, please keep as much as possible in the open meeting places where ventilation is maximum and where social distance is easier to keep. I think those are my very quick bullets to the three players that you have asked me to address.
Thank you very much. Professor Boaz Otieno Nyunya is the CEC member for Health and Sanitation in Kisumu County. Thank you for speaking to us, Prof. And have a lovely day.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you very much, Prof.
Asante, Prof.
Time for us also to say goodbye to our audience on KTN Home. You've been with us since the top of the hour. Join us again tomorrow morning. But the conversations continue on SpiceFM. So you can switch over to SpiceFM wherever you are, Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Nakuru, Eldoret, Nyeri, Malindi, or you can follow our live stream, SpiceFM KE, on YouTube, on Facebook, and Twitter. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Spice up your life.
Sugar and spice and everything nice, just the way you like it.
The Spice Drive.
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
The Spice Drive with Monique. The official soundtrack of getting you where you need to be.
So it's a tough conversation there. I mean, if you are the one who is in charge of the Ministry of Health in the county, and you're the one who's addressing the rising number of COVID-19 cases, it's not an easy one.
No, it isn't. But the good professor has worked in the field of HIV and AIDS for a long time. From a position of management, from a position of supervision, from a position as an implementer of projects. So if you talk about a scourge and you're talking about a viral attack such as this one, he is actually in a very good position to understand what needs to be done and how to bring in players. Because what we have now is not any different from the situation of HIV in this regard. It goes beyond the capacity of just the county to be able to tackle this. And you need to bring in partners.
Indeed. Yes. Let's continue the conversation in the next hour. Thank you very much for tuning into the Situation Room today. So the conversation continues into the next hour. Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Eldoret, Nyeri or Malindi. Good morning. It's now 9 a.m.
Spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
This is the Newswire. I'm Leah Ubaga. With a rise in COVID-19 cases in Kisumu County, hospitals continue to be overstretched. The county has so far recorded 5,994 COVID cases from a sample size of 43,000. Kisumu CEC Health and Sanitation Boaz Otieno says the number of beds and oxygen supply won't be enough if they are short of staff.
We need ICU nurses. We need laboratorians to monitor these patients. So the functional capacity must be defined as a package, not just bed space for us to have a meaningful thing.
Kisumu Central remains the epicenter of the disease in the county, followed by Kisumu East and Kisumu West. All sub-counties have recorded cases. You can donate blood at Uhuru Gardens, Kenyatta National Hospital and Mama Lucy Hospital within Nairobi County for the whole of this week. The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Kenya Blood Transfusion Service, has today launched a blood drive at Uhuru Park. Alice Mbui from the Ministry of Health says they've set up centers in Embu, Kisumu, Mombasa, Nairobi, Nakuru and Eldoret counties for the blood drive, which will run until Saturday 19th. The problem of water shortage in Mombasa is likely to be solved after Shofco provided a water supply truck to the streets. The truck will be delivering water from a well that's being dug in the streets of Bangladesh village in Mikindani. Shofco Director General Kennedy Odede said they also have plans to drill more wells in the Maweni and Mishomoroni areas.
Imagine ya kwamba ukija Mombasa zaidi hapo kia Bangladesh kuna mahali gari haiwezi ingia ama mahali kwa mbali. Tuwatumie kwa hilo lori yetu tupeleke mahali watu kiwa na shida ya maji. Ungejua kwamba Mombasa hapa kuna shida sana ya maji. Hii inasaidia kama watu zaidi ya 4,000.
Elsewhere, Bangladeshi residents led by Sylvia Osodo have expressed hope that the water crisis will be reduced.
Shida ya maji itapungua. Usipokuwa watu ni wengi, tumekuwa na shida na maji, na usipotoka saa 10 usiku uwezi ukapata maji kwa njia rahisi. Na tena inaleta ugomvi wa manyumba kwa sababu ni mama ana mpango wako wa kando, anaweza kudanganya baba anaenda kwa maji ama anaenda kwa mambo yake.
And finally, you'll tomorrow know which secondary school your KCPE 2020 candidate will join. Education CS George Magoha had announced that the Form 1 selection process will run from May 28th to June 15th. National schools will admit about 30,000 candidates, while 123,400 slots will go to extra county schools. Placement to national schools will give priority to those with over 400 marks and the Fast 5 candidates in each sub-county across the country. Another more than 142,000 slots have been set aside for the Form 1 admission in day schools, which will carry the bulk of the admissions. That's the Newswire. I'm Leah Ubaga.
.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Is it still a little bit crazy? Yes, it is. On Gong Road, as you're trying to get into the city, it slows down quite some as you get to this roundabout at the City Mortuary. Langata Road is also slowing down a considerable bit. It's coming off Thika Road, hot and heavy, especially at the Ngara Junction there and headed towards the Globe Cinema overpass. Guess what? You can use Wangari Maathai. Always a good option for you out. Longer route into the city, but it'll get you there much quicker. Still coming off Thika Road, Kiambu Road is jam-packed and then joining with Muthaiga Square at the Pangani underpass and then out in that general direction. Whether you're on the service lane or you're on the highway, it's still the same. Let's see what North Airport Road looks like. It's still packed as well. Outer Ring, that general direction. The Eastern Bypass, however, looks pretty good, as does the Southern. That accident that happened previously has been sorted out, and getting onto Langata Road is not too much of a headache. Let's keep it that way, shall we? Out into the morning, at least until 10 o'clock. Let's see what it looks like. SpiceFM KE. On Twitter, talk to us if it does get thick. Or find a good route that other folks can use. Let us know as well on text 40127.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latif, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation
5 minutes
Room,
after 9.
the only
conversation
way to
continues.
start.
This is the fourth hour of the show this morning. CT, today's proverb.
Kindness is a language that the blind see and the deaf hear.
The blind see, the deaf hear.
Yes.
Okay. It's a very nice one.
You like it, huh? What in particular do you like about it?
Says just be kind. Do you hear that? Embrace. I'm not saying that you're not kind. I'm saying, do you?
Neither is he implying.
I'm not. Embrace kindness.
Okay, I got it.
He's just saying reinforce it.
Okay, so I've understood.
You've understood.
Message driven home.
Message home. Okay. That conversation that we've just had with the CEC, Prof. Boaz Otieno Nyunya, and the news that's been coming out of Kisumu in particular, and in that region, the Lake Basin region, in terms of COVID-19, the story that was aired on NTV over the weekend as well, people in hospital saying, my goodness, and healthcare workers saying, we are basically getting overwhelmed to a point. We're getting overwhelmed. He has also talked about that. He says, looking at the two hospitals they have collapsed the operations of these two hospitals in terms of dealing with COVID, and saying people who have been earmarked to deal with COVID in this particular hospital and this other one work together. It says that there's an issue. Laura Jean-Louis says, hanging over the Lake Region block, lockdown is hanging over the Lake Region block at this rate. May all those going through this come out stronger, sending hugs and kisses. But also the people who are feeling like the prof was not answering the questions. He isn't answering anything, just speaking too much English, not much substantive in terms of what exactly are they doing to make sure that they get on top of the situation. He said very many things in terms of there are things that are in the pipeline, there are things that they're working on, there's what they've been able to do so far, what they've looked at and seen. Our capacity, and he called it functional capacity, is not just saying that we have 100 beds. It is, are those beds actually functional? Do you have the healthcare workers to attend to patients on those beds? Do you have oxygen supply in those beds? Do you have PPEs? Do you have the medication that's required? Do you have everything that is required to make sure that a patient on this particular bed is being attended to? And he said, very many private hospitals are telling us that they do have, but they only have maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital, about 100. They have 149 people who are in hospital. If this number continues to increase, if we had a sudden spike in numbers of people who require to go to hospital, they would be in trouble. They've even had to move people from some health facilities, some healthcare workers from some health facilities, to bring them to these ones to deal with this. If you look at the way he's saying, what they're doing, look at what the governors have been saying, what they're doing, what they need to do. Many of them are saying what we need to do. And when it comes to enforcement, they are very good. Burial must take place within 48 hours after somebody has died. And we must find out, are you adhering? We are going to make sure that people are not congesting in public transport. Enforcement, they can do that very well. Are they doing a lot more in terms of building the capacity of the counties, not just Kisumu, but in the region, to deal with this?
I think the answer is simply no. Enough is not being done. And I think the reason that is being given to that is because, number one, inadequate sources or inadequate funding then being passed on to them in terms of what they can do. And that's one reason that has always been given, was given today, that, right, there's so much that we need to do. We need to hire more in terms of staff. We need to establish more in terms of equipment. I mean, what did he say repeatedly? Is that, do we have capacity in terms of beds? But functional capacity is the issue here. We have beds, yes, we do. But will they be able to take in an ICU patient? No, because it's not just the bed that you look at, but all the equipment that comes with it is what is absolutely necessary. Can we take care of patients who need oxygen? No, we don't have enough supplemental oxygen at the moment if we need more people. So it is clear that there's some things that are needed in order to get this done, and that money is the fuel to move this machine, and it is not available in the amount that is required. Should it be given attention? Absolutely it should. We don't look. A few months ago, we were in the place where we saw horror stories of people who went to hospital and could not breathe and unfortunately died. Not in another country, in this one. And here the very same indicators are presenting themselves that we could get to the point where things would go belly up. So my question is, we're looking at a happening situation. It's like we're in the movies and we're watching the pictures go across the screen and they just keep going and we know what's going to happen. In this case, there's no, you're not suspended and you don't know what will happen. You know what will happen. Guess what? It has happened before. And the experts have told us this very same thing, that we're getting to the place where there will be a peak. And there are many factors that are contributing to this at the moment. It is going to happen, but we're kind of just watching it play out. And then we will get to the place whereby we're overwhelmed with the numbers and we can't do anything about it. Whereas the time to have done something about it is currently before us. Why is it not happening? What needs to happen, like you said? Do people not need to start dropping in the streets for us to say, okay, we're at the point where something needs to be done? Do we get to the point where people are getting to hospital and they turned away because there's no space? Or they get to hospital and then there's no oxygen and then we start running about our tails doing something about it? Why are we always in this state where we're running after this thing? It needs to be done now.
But you know, one of the things that we did not discuss, well, I deliberately didn't ask it because I don't think the good professor is in a position to respond, is the impact that COVID has had, is having, and will continue having on the economy of Kisumu. Sometimes the decision to lock down is premised and it also presupposes a direct impact on the economy. And anyone who is a leader, especially a political leader, will know this.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing you want to avoid dealing with because it will give you some serious
fresh headache.
Headaches that you feel you don't particularly need. Because it will. Because the moment you order lockdown, you know what that means is that people in the transport business will have nothing to do.
Yep.
Transport here, think of any aspect of transport.
Yep.
Then just the day-to-day business transactions and activities will also be brought to a near halt. Now you're talking about a situation where many of the businesses that we have in this town have been very small-scale businesses that are actually, should we say, kiosk-based.
Yep.
All right? Now, that was put stage 2 with all the developments, railway reclaiming its land, the county government moving some of these structures from the road reserves. So many of these people already had a situation where they suddenly found themselves without an income-generating activity. You throw in a lockdown, then you suddenly put almost the entire community in that particular county in penury, meaning you really do not know what to do. This isn't even between a rock and a hard place. It's a rock and a hard place multiplied by a certain factor. So, difficult decisions, a difficult situation, but something has to be done. Because even as you talk about the controlling and ensuring that you enforce, the truth of the matter is that just the day-to-day activities that people are involved in the absence of a lockdown, guarantee that the situation that we have is not going to be maintained, it will get worse. It's not complicated, it's just a simple truth.
You know, when you look at all those things, yes, there is that balancing act, and there's a political side and the economic side of lives versus livelihoods. That's the same thing that even the president deals with whenever he comes and says, lock down these particular counties. And it's true, and we've seen it. The reaction when he locked down, people pouring onto the street saying, my friend, just leave us alone, let us be. But also the other side, building the confidence of the people that you are able to deal with the rising situation as it unfolds. That your health care system is actually adapting and reacting to, or even preparing to any eventualities. And I think that's what is not coming out for me. In all these regions, talk about any of those 11 counties, I'm not getting a sense that the governors, the county governments, even the national government are doing much to address what is unfolding. When you have an entire county only saying that, okay, we are going to have 2 facilities to deal with COVID cases, 2, and they're in Kisumu town. How are you going to transport people who require urgent medical attention from those other facilities to these 2? Have you increased the capacity of ambulances? All those things are not being taken care of.
It's like you're asking, what is it that has happened in the healthcare space that is new, and what is it that is new that can cope with what we have?
Yes.
Because if you're talking about what you had before, the truth is it will be inadequate to cope with the current situation, because the people who are ill and for whatever reason are going to hospital are not suddenly going to stop. Now, with COVID, what you're going to have is an increased situation of emergency.
Yep.
Not just people falling sick, emergency.
And that's what even the CEC talked about. This is also affecting how they're responding to other diseases that people are reporting with to hospitals. The question we want to ask you, and we want you to join this conversation and tell us what you think, is: do you have confidence with how the national and county government of this particular region are managing COVID wave? Do you have confidence with how the national and county governments are managing the COVID-19 wave in the Nyanza region? 0719-012-600. That's the number to call. 0719-012-600. jobs.standardmedia.co.ke. Every time, remember, think about jobs, go and check them out on jobs.standardmedia.co.ke. Let's take a look at the weather. We'll be back shortly.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Spice up your life. 24/7, around the world, non-stop. This is Spice FM.
What is the best gift to celebrate a birthday? Cash, of course. What if I told you that you can get cold, hard cash for celebrating a birthday? This June, Olivia Otieno, is giving 10,000 shillings to 41 lucky Spice FM listeners to celebrate my 41st birthday. That's right, this June, 41 lucky Spice FM listeners will get 10,000 shillings cash. All you need to do is SMS the word cash to 29599. That's cash to 29599. And if your SMS is number 41 or number 1041, every Monday to Friday, you walk away with 10,000 shillings cash. Each SMS costs 10 shillings. Terms and conditions apply. Go to spicefm.co.ke for more details.
Highs of 25 and lows of 13 in Nairobi. Sunny conditions in Nyeri at 15. Highs of 23 and lows of 12. 26 will be the high in Nakuru today, where it's mostly cloudy at 18. It's 17 degrees and sunny in Eldoret, highs of 23 and lows of 13. 27 will be the high in Kisumu today, where it's mostly sunny at 22. Mostly sunny conditions in Kakamega at 24, going to highs of 27 today. Highs of 29 will be recorded in Mombasa, where it's mostly cloudy at 26. It's 28 degrees and cloudy in Malindi, highs of 29 and lows of 25. Kampala is partly sunny, moving out of Kenya, highs of 27 and lows of 18. Mostly cloudy in Dar es Salaam at 24, highs of 30 and lows of 21. Johannesburg will see a sunny morning at 13, highs of 19 and lows of 5 through the day. Cloudy conditions in Lagos at 25 with highs of 31. 32 will be the high recorded in Kinshasa, which is sunny at 23. It's raining in Beijing at 25. It'll go to highs of 28 going into early evening and lows of 23. Paris is sunny at 17. The summer months have kicked in, highs of 30 and lows of 18. It's sunny in London at 19, highs of 27 and lows of 16. It's early Monday morning in New York, highs of 22 today, lows of 19 and cloudy conditions through the day.
Classic soul, R&B, smooth jazz, neo soul, and nostalgic ballads.
Make some noise. Yeah!
You're listening to Spice FM. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right.
So we have had a conversation with the CEC for Kisumu County, Professor Boaz Otieno Nyunya, who was telling us how the county is responding to the numbers of COVID-19. He says there appears to be some positive news. In the last 1 week, the number of cases compared to previous weeks has dropped. So it seems as if the situation is actually reaching the flattening of the curve. However, in the event that this isn't the case, they are still working hard and putting in place measures to address the situation and see that they can deal with it. Question is, and like you said, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital is actually a regional referral hospital, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it will bring in people, it will take in people from the neighboring counties as well. It is the one that is dealing with the Kisumu cases. Kisumu is also the KCRH. What is KCRH? Kisumu County Referral Hospital. Is dealing with...
Former Kisumu District Hospital.
Right.
Yes.
Is also now the other one that is dealing with these cases. So two referral hospitals in Kisumu dealing with COVID cases. Others don't have that big capacity to address. Now, in case this situation goes south, can they cope? Can Kisumu cope? Can Siaya and the other counties, the neighboring counties, cope? Busia and others, can they cope? Thomas says, I'm currently in Kisumu. The situation is a time bomb. The COVID-19 preventive measures are not being followed. No enforcement or education, despite reports that the deadly Indian variant is present. Ruto needs to postpone his planned visit to Nyanza to avoid another breeding ground. Mm-hmm. And the question we're asking is, do you have confidence with how the national and county governments are managing the COVID wave in Nyanza? 0719-012-600. Do you have confidence, Ndu?
No, unfortunately, and I'm not even just talking about just at the county level or even that regional area. I think over time it's been wanting in terms of how things have been handled. In the beginning, sure, everybody was just trying to grapple with what was going on, but after some time, things, you got to realize how things work, especially when everybody throws this statement at us that, we can't make a decision unless we're informed by data. Well, the data is staring us in the face oftentimes and saying, this is what we need to do. This is what we ought to do. This is how we ought to work things out. We have somebody who is on the ground telling us very clearly, in terms of functional capacity right now, we do not have it. We don't have it. If anything goes bad, or if things go south, because right now it's at a manageable level, isn't it? If things go worse, we will not be able to handle. This is the data that should fuel decisions that we keep looking at. Can we handle it? No. You don't want a situation, look, where somebody walks to hospital and we can't care for them, not because you're not able. This is not because the facility doesn't exist, but because you're not able to. There's no space. 1. 2, what you need, you can't provide or you can't offer it up, whereas you could have. Functioning ICU beds. Yeah. I also sense hesitancy to put them in place because there's the thought of, so what if it doesn't get worse? We would have wasted all this money.
All the resources will have gone into this. All the resources
that could have gone somewhere else, and then it doesn't get worse. I can sense the hesitancy in doing because it's true. What if the cases drop? Then
could I then
we've put all of these things in place and then nobody's going to use them.
Remember, there was a 5 billion budget that the government specifically earmarked for increasing capacity right around the country. Yes. I probably would begin, and I should have asked this question, of that money.
What did you do with your share of the money?
Yes. How much of your capacity did you actually build? And I say this because the situation that we now see unfolding in Kisumu, unfortunately, if we mirrored it anywhere in the country, the problems would not be
the same. It should be the same.
It would be exactly the same problem.
Let's speak to somebody who's in Kisumu. George, good morning.
Morning, Eric.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
My name is George Otieno.
Yes, George.
I pass my greetings to Ndu and City Muga.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I'm okay.
That is good to hear.
Yeah. There's an issue I was discussing earlier on with the Prof.
Yes.
About the situation of COVID in Kisumu. I'm so much happy that about the issue, the interventions he talked about. But there's an issue I wanted to bring to your attention. When it comes to the PSV vehicles flying, maybe the inter-estate movement, there is no social distance that is being observed in those places. And I've never seen any enforcement officer coming to the PSV vehicles, reminding or telling the people what they are supposed to be doing given the upsurge of COVID in Kisumu. There is nothing that has been done. And most of the people in Kisumu, by the way, if you look at them keenly, they are not putting on the mask. What they are putting on, they are putting that mask on their chin. Yeah? That is what is happening in this place. And when it comes to the functionality of some of the facilities in Kisumu, I was working in a health space sometimes back, and what I realized is that when these people who have been given the authority to implement this intervention, they are so impressionistic. They tell people what they want to hear. I was working in a facility sometimes back as an auxiliary staff, and one of the rooms that was designated as an isolation center was being said to be having everything. Well, I was working in that room, but it didn't have anything that was being displayed across the board.
Not even a bed.
So what they were trying to put across, like the ventilators, the oxygen, were not there.
Okay.
And instead of saying they were having a given number of beds, they were putting like we have 10 beds while there are only 4 beds in that place. So sometimes when we address these issues over the media and you come on the ground, you find that you do some audit, you find that things are different. So sometimes we may hear these things being said, but we people who are on the ground, it's completely different. So what I would wish to happen is that when it comes to the implementation of the face mask, the simple ones, they should come on ground and tell the people what they need to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, George.
Thank you.
Jimmy in Malindi, good morning.
Good morning, too.
How are you today?
We are fine. We thank God, but
Good.
we are confused. I'm confused.
Why?
Yes, the reason why I'm confused, I'm looking at the situation and how they are managing this thing. You know, I'm in Malindi. And in Malindi, we have a place called Kisumu, Ndogo. So let me talk about this Kisumu, Ndogo. You find the schools which are around Kisumu, Ndogo, and around Malindi at large, kids have stopped using the masks in school. Yes, you can clearly see them. We're going to school. I've been to the schools. I've been looking at them. I've seen kids are not using the masks. The teachers are not using the masks. There is no social distance. A classroom is taking about 160 students. I'm not exaggerating. I am talking about what is the fact. And there is no social distance, and kids don't have masks. There is even no water going into the kids are not washing hands anymore. So you find that one thing that I am 100% sure is that God will never forgive. No, let me not talk about God, because God can forgive anyone. But I don't think or believe Kagwe, Mutai Kagwe, and Magoha, and the president, God will have a lot of grace to forgive these people. Why? They say that the doctors and the nurses are the ones who are supposed to get the first vaccine, including the teachers. Now, you see, they've classified the teacher's position is equivalent to a nurse in a hospital.
Yep.
Why are they seeing a teacher is at risk? Because these kids are mingling together, and there is much likely to give the virus to the teacher, the infection. So why did they have to open these schools? Even after knowing that there is an environment which the Indian variant is in the country. Why do they, how many times do I talk to my kids, telling them one thing 2 times, 3 times? It is natural. Kids have got a small IQ. So it is difficult to manage a child.
Jimmy.
And you cannot put a child at this kind of risk. Yes?
Okay, go ahead. I think maybe what you're trying to say in terms of attention span, or that they forget easily, or comprehending something that you have to keep repeating to them, is what you're trying to say about kids, yes?
Yes, yes. And this is the thing. It is 95% possible those kids to infect each other and bring the infection into their homes. Because a parent understands, my child is at home, I need to put a mask, I need to wash my hands, I need to sanitize, I need to protect my house. But this kid who is going out there to the school, who is at risk in a point that even the teacher herself or himself is supposed to be vaccinated, this child is likely to carry this virus into their homes. So what I say, they should tell us if it is population control, which they are doing. Because with this kind of policy of the government, it clearly tells me that what is more important is the kitty of Ministry of Education. Because when there is no school, that kitty does not move. The funds so they don't move. So they need these funds to move. So they have to make sure they've opened the school.
Kids are back at school. Hey, thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. And yes,
these guys, only God will forgive them.
Asante sana. 9:30, Kenya's biggest conversation continues. 0719-012-600. Are you confident with how the national and county governments are dealing with the COVID-19 situation in Nyanza and the Lake region? Good morning. Let's take a break now. And yes, we talk about Samsung.
All right, so the A32, A52, and A72 are the options that Samsung is giving you to be absolutely awesome. And so we're asking you, which is your pick today, and what about it is it that makes it absolutely awesome? We're asking you to give us those answers today on our social media handles, SpiceFM KE, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. The awesome experience is what the new A series offers up for you, and we're asking you to share a little bit of that with us today to get some great Samsung merchandise, and we'll make that selection today on the program. Let us know what it is on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, how Samsung has been made absolutely awesome for you.
You know, when you see someone being jailed, a governor or two or someone who stole, then people will fear. Because our problem is not the borrowing, it's the stealing.
We've become actually a nation of thieves. The only thing we lack is an opportunity to steal.
The guys who quote the Bible and say, I'm a Christian and all that, and you know they're thieves. Return what you have stolen 4 times. If you know that you have property or anything that you have stolen, just return and say, my God does not allow me to hold stolen things.
We are also a reflection of you, because you elect us. You know, we don't get into our office by ourselves. We are a reflection of the people who elect us.
We don't want to go to the streets. We have a constitution that enables us, assert our will.
When the legislature are now being taken as hostage by the executive for whatever reason, we are now bound by what they want us to do.
This is just outside the realms of reality. We have impunity written into the DNA of our political class.
How old were you when you learned that Jeshi la Wokovu is Jeshi la Wokovu?
I can't say it very well.
And everyone knows. Okay.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Okay, so I think it's letting up in some parts, at least for now. There's still a little bit of Mombasa Road. We're going to see Uhuru Highway actually quite full, all the way from the Nyeri Stadium roundabout through to Westlands, in and outbound to the city. There are longer ways around it, but for now I think it's going to settle down for now, at least. Coming off of Figure Road is also looking a little bit better, but we'll still see some pockets of traffic as we go through the day. Through the day, do talk to us. SpiceFM KE on Twitter. Text on 40127. The aim is to keep things moving today. So if you find a good route, let us know that as well. If it clogs up, let us know as well, so folks can plan their Monday.
Spice up your life. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94 point.
Let's go back to the phone lines. 0719-012-600. Let's hear from you. Obia in Kisumu, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
You heard the conversation that we had with the CEC for Health in Kisumu. You are in Kisumu. You've seen the situation on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Are you confident that the government is actually dealing with this?
The residents are not responsive enough to whatever is being said. There are memos that have been around, being pinned all over, telling people to keep social distance. But the enforcement part is lacking because actually, like the other guy said on radio, there's no anybody reminding people in matatus or telling people keep social distance. It's just anybody, anything goes. Some people are just putting their masks on their chin. That's what I say. And then this one is not unique to Kisumu because I'm resident in Nairobi. This one is also happening in Nairobi, happening elsewhere. Nairobi, these matatus do the same thing. When they carry people from CBD, they maintain the social distance. When they leave the CBD, going into the estate, they carry people the way they want. Go to Gikomba, they do the same thing, carry people the way they want. So it's a disease that's hitting the whole country. It's something that we need to do in media more. It's all about the information, not about the police because people are now putting up these things for the police.
But
So
at
they
this
must.
point, then, Obia, if I may ask you, are there how many people are not aware about COVID? How many people are not aware about how to wear a mask, when to wash your hands, how to maintain social distance?
So what do you think is lacking? Is it the education? Is it our level of understanding? Is it because everything is riddled by corruption? Is it because the way we think is different from how the whole world thinks? It's because you cannot be talking about wine and you talk about water and you drink wine. Like you talk about the same people who come to stage to tell you about keep social distance, and their leaders, their cheers, the political leadership and all those people. And then on the other side, even the religious leaders are jostling to go back to church. On the other side, those people are going to rallies. The other side, nobody is taking the leadership. So you cannot be in isolation and say, we in Kenya we have it's just talk. Politicians are gathering. Children in school. So people in matatus are not keeping social distances. Business has to go on. It's a thing. It's not unique to Kisumu. It's not unique to Nairobi. It's one thing, and whatever is lacking in this country is education. And it's all about civic education. And we do a lot of politics in radio, more to get people, even on TV. This country is not police. It is education.
Thank you, Obia. We've lost Obia, but he says it's all about education.
He has a point.
There's education in Kisumu. He says there are posters all over telling you there is COVID. Maintain social distance. Wear your mask. Wash your hands.
Let's look at the subject of self-interest. Let's look at the subject of self-preservation. Are there posters telling people to go to work?
Nope.
Are there posters telling people to take their children to school when they reach the age of going to school?
Wake up this morning, go open your banda.
Yes, or pay school fees. No.
Stop sleeping now. Wake up.
Yes. So, or is it that COVID is not being taken seriously and it is assumed that it's just the other people other than myself who will get infected?
It'll come, it'll go.
Yes. And
I'm hoping that I'm not among its victims.
So I'd rather just continue with my way of life because the change that is being required of me, I don't see it as necessary. But you see, that narrative was premised on another narrative where you kept hearing people say, but I don't know of anybody who has COVID. Yeah. Where is it? That COVID is in Nairobi. That COVID is God knows where. But the situation has changed.
Yeah.
Because now COVID is at your doorstep. There are people you will know who have died from COVID. And COVID doesn't carry with it the stigma that HIV did. So people talk about COVID openly, but they seem to disregard it. So all this issue of education, when COVID first started bothering people, people made the effort to even ensure that there were booths where people could wash their hands, masks, and then the disaster that they thought would occur didn't occur. So they figured, and this is the story right around the world.
Yeah.
We're discussing India. Same thing. People are now figuring, you know something, this COVID, we've beaten it. There's nothing to worry us. Look at the Western countries. What were they doing? The same attitude. So this isn't an African situation. It's a human situation. It isn't an Indian situation. It's a human situation. It isn't a Western situation. It is a human situation. People get to a point where they figure this thing doesn't really seem to be a bother. Until it's in your face and it's actually killing people by very large numbers. Then you realize, goodness gracious me, you mean? Now, unfortunately, usually by the time when the you mean question comes in, the disaster is
already happening.
And it's profound.
Yeah.
And we haven't reached that point yet.
So people think, and you see...
In terms of somebody seeing many people dying close to them, very many, because people... Yes, we increasingly get to a point where you know somebody who has died, somebody who has died, but you know people who have died. Every day you know people who have died. COVID, road accident, cancer.
Take your pick.
Whatever. Eric, you know...
So I think you also get to a point, it's as if people get to a point where it's another death. It's another cause of death. This COVID is another cause of death. So and so died.
Joining
what did
the
they
rest.
have? What did they have? Until you get to a point where you hear half of the people that you are dealing with have died. Now, I think that's when now it starts becoming, like now the situation in India, where you are dealing with Here is one person. It's a parent. It's a child. It's all of them are sick at the same time. All of them are gasping for air at the same time. They all die. Then now you're like, it is not any other.
You know what is truly odd, Eric? The point you're making is not only valid, but it's also true. However, I am comparing it with the other scourge that we've had in recent years called HIV. When it first reared its head in the States, it was treated as this peculiar curse, problem, punishment that only a certain members of our society have. So the stigma just multiplied instead of trying to seek to understand it. And even when people started approaching it, handling it, it was still considered to be something that other people have. It's something
Not
that you
you.
find, not you, in
Yep.
the gay community.
Yep.
Even when it was clear that it didn't discriminate. We're looking at COVID right now. And you see, what we are seeing is the culmination of not what happened last week or the week before. It's been happening for some time.
Yeah.
And what we're describing here, 4 people on a motorbike, crowding of matatus, it's happening around the country.
Yep.
So that Indian situation that we keep talking about, I'm arguing it's upon us. We're just not seeing it because what will happen is yet to happen, but it will happen.
Ed in Nyeri, good morning.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
Greetings from Nanyuki. I've just arrived in Nanyuki.
Okay.
Now,
When you have time, Ed, please, you keep sending us greetings. Also take our greetings and distribute them appropriately. Okay?
So are you are just about to cross from Mount Kenya west to east.
actually, I'm in Nanyuki town. I'm thinking of going back to Nyeri or come over there in Nairobi.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. You remember, guys, when I had lost my job, I got some cafe job kidogo.
Yes.
And I was in Kisumu. Now, I woke up in the morning. My very first time to Kisumu, and I was to go to Luanda. There are somewhere you take a vehicle at around Kisumu Stadium, Apo Kisumu Girls, Apo. That's where I went. And I can tell you the ignorance that was there. Actually, I asked someone, huku mnabeba hivi? Aniambia, hiyo ugonjwa ni ya Nairobi na watu wako na pesa. And actually, I was surprised because that was the norm. Where was Nakuru? They told me, Kipita Nakuru sheria inaishi hapo, corona inaishi hapo. In as much as the government can put whatever measures they are going to put, people are very ignorant. And it's upon that person because even if I give you a sanitizer in every pocket of your clothes right now and you can't use it, am I helping you?
It's useless.
The thing is, there is so much ignorance. And as you say, even if, you see, I told them, hey, so watu wanakufa, wanaambia, hata ukikula samaki sahi, kufa baadaye. Unaweza nyongwa na samaki ukufe. I can tell you this. It's one person. It depends. It's the individual now. It's not about the government.
It's personal responsibility now, an initiative.
It's personal responsibility. It's not the government. The government can't come and police you everywhere.
That's true. Thank you, Ed.
Yes.
Salimia watu wa Nanyuki.
Nitawasalimia wote Nanyuki.
Thank you. Zachary in Nakuru, good morning.
Oh, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Zachary.
I had to wait for a while, and first of all, to welcome our agent, Provocatua.
Oh, yeah, we haven't spoken.
Yeah, we haven't, because I've been a bit busy. And you are away. And while you are away, someone hinted to us that you were going to have a second marriage.
Wow.
Zachary, I love your imagination.
At the elders, the elders in the village found it fit for you to have a second Jiko. Now you are going to tell whether that is true. Now, very quickly, because we are functionally short of time, let me say this, and I can hear Mwalimu laughing.
Yes, you can.
That, if you look at the that day when we had the Madaraka Day. In the evening, I wrote something. I wrote a comment, and I said I'm disturbed by the crowd that I saw, that congregation, that large gathering, And I said, if you look at it, you're going to see it. I'm disturbed by what is going to happen after 14 days. Let us agree this. No one can say that he or she has not heard the story of COVID-19. Everyone, the story has been told and retold, and now it is becoming a norm in every home, and it has even practically demonstrated. Because when you go to the roads and you want to board a matatu, those people have been told do not carry more than 8 people. So that is a practical demonstration that there is something going on. And even a kid is able to know, Let me tell you this. For those of us who believe in religion, God shall never, and will never discuss with ignorant people. You know, it is like he treats the way he treats ignorant people the way government treats terrorists. He says that I'm not going to negotiate with terrorists or criminals. That is what God says to ignorant people. Therefore, whoever is getting COVID, let him introspect and see, okay, what did I do? What was I supposed not to do that I did? And very quickly, let me tell you that guy who has talked about schools. Mr. Eric, today, if you pick COVID, and God forbid, or even if I pick COVID, the place where I'm likely to note, because we are interacting with schools around here, it is, in fact, in schools. I wish the government comes up with the policy that everybody should be put in a controlled camp. You remember the concentration camps?
Yes.
Where there are rules, where the rules have to be followed. If there is a safe place, in fact, that all of us should be in, it is the schools. So I tell that guy who has actually talked so much about the opening of schools, I wish the schools would continue without breaking, because in schools you have to be checked your temperature, you have to sanitize, you have to wash your hands with soap, and you have to observe functional distance.
Zachary, if you'll allow me to intervene, that is the assumption that all schools have those facilities. Our caller, that was Jimmy from Malindi, he was telling us that unfortunately, some of the schools that he had actually visited didn't have any of these things. That was part of his major concern. But let me ask you a question. When you look at the area that you live in, are you seeing people adhering to these COVID norms?
Okay. In the uncontrolled situation, like now where I am, probably in the market on the road, people are not observing these rules. Okay, some of us are observing and we are trying very hard, But let me assure you, Maureen, that guy, tell him that is an old school. It's the old one out, In a serious school, and on average, most of the schools that I have visited, they are observing those rules. You are not going there without a mask. You are not going there without having your temperature being taken. In fact, one day I think on Friday, I told a guy, my temperature has been taken, I told him 10 times because I had to visit more than 10 schools. Hello?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
And in every school, you have to sanitize and wash your hands. The soap is there. And you have to observe social distance. And you wear your mask correctly. So the schools have to be there.
So by and large, schools are safer for the children than other places.
Very safe. Very safe. Even colleges and whatever. I'm telling you that out of, I have
of personal experience.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Zachary.
Thank you, too.
10 minutes to 10.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Spice up your life. 24/7, around the world, non-stop. This is SpiceFM.
What is the best gift to celebrate a birthday? Cash, of course. What if I told you that you can get cold, hard cash for celebrating a birthday? This June, I, Olivia Otieno, is giving 10,000 shillings to 41 lucky Spice FM listeners to celebrate my 41st birthday. That's right, this June, 41 lucky Spice FM listeners will get 10,000 shillings cash. All you need to do is SMS the word cash to 29599. That's cash to 29599. And if your SMS is number 41 or number 1041 every Monday to Friday, you walk away with 10,000 shillings cash. Each SMS costs 10 shillings. Terms and conditions apply. Go to spicefm.co.ke for more details.
Spice up your life.
Eight minutes to 10. So, Siti, you were asking Zachary and even others, have you observed people observing these measures?
Yes, right across the country. I mean, do you see people actually adhering to these COVID norms? Because if you don't, then any time you hear of a breakout or an escalation of infection, rest assured that's what's coming your way. It's not complicated. It's just direct fact. It's heading your way. It's incubating and it will actually manifest itself.
So now?
You see, the discussion is about specific responsibilities. It can't be that every time we mention individual responsibility, the government. And you mention the government, individual responsibility. Put an end to this nonsensical game. Everybody has a responsibility and we know where the responsibilities lie and we know where the boundaries are drawn.
Yeah.
Okay?
Politicians don't hold rallies by themselves.
No. And you don't have to go for those rallies.
It's you and I who attend the rallies.
People still go. I mean, look, we definitely cannot. And I think opportunities present themselves all the time to remind people or even to initiate the conversation that there's something that you can do to protect yourself. But then we're dealing with two totally different realities for people here. It's that, okay, well, when it gets to me, I'll deal with it. And it's unfortunate that almost, what are we now, going to a year and a half down the line since COVID made its entrance, is that we know that it can affect you if you don't take care of yourself.
Yep.
It's not a mystery. It's not something too complicated. That if you don't take care of yourself, it can happen to you. It can happen to somebody close to you. It doesn't really matter. But that it's competing with people's realities at the moment is also a truth. But we don't want to get to the place where people are singing their woulda, coulda, shouldas. There's something you can do about it today. Protect yourself and protect those around you. I think one thing rings very true to me is that still very clear in my mind, when the governor of Mombasa at that time spoke to us, he said, look, if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for the people who love you and those that you love. That you can take care of yourself. That all of those things notwithstanding, that I have to get to work, that I must get my children to school, that I must go and look and hustle or whatever. You have a duty to take care of yourself. You have a duty to take care of those who are going to come in contact with you. And there's actually something you can do. You can wash your hands. You can insist on being socially distanced from others in a public service vehicle, for example. You can do that. It doesn't require any kind of government intervention for you to say, I'm not going to board this matatu, for example, if it's full to capacity, that I have a mask in my hand. Well, guess what? I'm going to put it on my face and not on my chin. Cover my mouth and my nose. It doesn't require government intervention for you to come and do that. There are places where it does require government intervention when we're talking about COVID. But let's leave that there. And there's certain things that you and I can do today. Do we want to remain safe? Yes. And it's shown that if you do follow these measures, that you stand a good chance of being able to protect yourself from getting COVID or protecting others from getting it. Put on the mask, man. It doesn't require government to come in and say, you're getting into a matatu and it's already full and you're in a hurry. It's okay. Stay a few more minutes and save a life or save yours. Wait.
You see, the message you send to politicians when they call for rallies and you attend is that the disregard they have for your life is the disregard you share with them.
Yep.
Now, you have an opportunity to send a message and say, look, I regard my life a little more highly than you think. So you attend that meeting yourself.
I'm not coming.
I'm not coming. Because it is as clear as daylight that these gatherings are super spreaders. You cannot say this enough because it's just an eternal truth. There's nothing that you can't alter it. So, if you're talking about personal responsibilities, an even bigger responsibility is rethinking the way you think. Change the way you look at life and change the way you go about doing your business, because business as usual will mean certain death. If you escape death, it will mean you will be impaired and you will suffer the ravages of COVID. Again, not complicated, simple and straightforward.
More and more stories need to be told by the people who have gone through this difficult time, especially in countries such as India, in the initial phases, Italy and Spain, and what they were going through, Brazil and others. So people can then get to see, okay, so this is the likelihood of what could happen. This is what could actually go wrong in the event we don't follow the rules. Let's talk about Samsung and the people who have used the Samsung, either A32, 52 or 72.
Yes, so today we're asking you, in order for you to get some great Samsung merchandise, we're going to select two winners today. We're asking, between the Samsung A32, A52 and A72, which is your favorite and what makes it awesome? So we have two winners for today, and I think it's absolutely great. On Facebook, our winner today is Samuel Javan. He's tuned in from Hamza, enjoying the show. And he says, for me, I would go for the Samsung A72. The camera is so clear and I love it so much. Plus, for those who love capturing photos, please go for this phone. The camera gives selfies with warm and natural skin tones, plus gives the best confidence of going about your business without worrying about Ukona Type C guy in every gathering. That's Samuel Javan. That's our first winner. And the other one is Chris Ndagwatha. The Samsung A32 is my favorite reason being it's pocket friendly. The 5000 mAh camera with 15 fast charge waves saves me on time rather, takes quality pictures with the 48 MP back camera, which I use often in my work. And finally, it's an amazing color range. Thumbs up to you and congratulations. Get in touch with you as to how you can pick up your Samsung merchandise today. Keep being awesome.
Samuel and Chris, right?
Yes.
Samuel and Chris, congratulations. Congratulations. Karibuni sana. City, today's proverb.
Kindness is a language that the blind see and the deaf hear.
Meaning? And why this one?
You know, there are situations where you want to talk about a universal language. The universal language that is often spoken of is the language of love. It's something that is understood. Now, kindness is a subset of this. You will express it by deeds, not by vocalizing. You can vocalize it, yes, but it's deeds. Now, when someone does something, you don't need to hear them do it. You don't need to see them do it. You feel it, and you will know it has been done.
An act of kindness. Very good. Thank you very much for tuning into the Situation Room today. Join us again tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now until 11, you'll have some uninterrupted music. And then Yolanda and DJ Absolute will come with Sugar and Spice and everything nice. 3 o'clock, you have Monique taking you home on Spice Drive, and then the adults in the room coming in from 7 until 10. More and more of this Sugar and Spice and everything nice on SpiceFM. Have a lovely day, folks. Good morning. It's now 10 a.m.
Spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning, this is the Newswire. I'm Leah Ubaga. The political future of the Mount Kenya region may be facing one of the most challenging times since the advent of multi-party politics. As the region's political kingpin, President Uhuru Kenyatta, completes his term, uncertainty reigns. The coronation of National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi as the region's spokesperson has widened the rift. Now youth leaders from Mount Kenya East are supporting the call of leaders from their backyard for the support from Mount Kenya West.
Gema stands for Gikuyu, Embu and Meru. But now it seems like Embu iko nje ya blanketi. Because sasa vile tumepata JB anakuwa colonated kumeanza kukua na story. So we are like kwani Embu wako wapi?
Wamekuwa wakituchukua kwa muda mrefu tukiwa watu vivi hivi. Sisi tumekuwa tukisupport hizi tribes zingine. Sisi sasa tunataka kusema ni wakati wetu kama watu wa Embu kupewa support na watu wa Kikuyu.
Over the weekend, leaders from Muturi's backyard demanded support from Mount Kenya West. Mithika Linturi is senator for Meru.
Wacha kama ni kupasuka, ipasuke. Watu waende kivyao. Amka tukulia kwa mfuko kama njugu karanga permanently.
Kirinyaga Governor Anwai Guru has been one of the leaders from Mount Kenya West who has dismissed Muturi's coronation.
Hauwezi amka asubuhi, utoke kwako nyumbani, uingie katika msitu, ukae siku 7, utoke nje useme wewe sasa ndio kiongozi wetu.
Also, Bomet Governor Henry Bachok says if school fees in universities is increased from 16,000 to 48,000 shillings, the number of students, especially from poor backgrounds, won't access education. Bachok further says increasing fees means the funding from HELB may not be able to support students due to the dwindling state of the fund.
They have also been not in a position to collect monies from the students who have been able to access that fund because, one, some of them have not been employed and they have not been servicing their loans. So whatever they are collecting may not be able to fund the education for most of the students who are currently enrolling in the universities.
Bomet Governor says since HELB may not be able to service the new students joining universities due to defaulting of funds by former students, they should find a way to reduce the number of students being serviced.
If we increase the school fees in the universities, it means what we have been advocating for, especially on the issues of access, we may face a challenge because a number of our students are